Just some good old Bulgarian roads right here on the way to the village of Hubovene. I was not expecting it to be this unpaved, let's say. But there are certainly worse roads than this in the country, so I'm used to quite a lot. Just hope I don't blow a tire, because I've never had that. And I don't think I'll be able to change it, especially on my own. Need to walk to the village to get some strong Bulgarian man. But right now the road trip's going fine, a bit unplanned. I have again no hotel for the night, but we'll see how that goes. I'm right now crossing into northern Bulgaria, into the province, or the province of Pleven, and the municipality of Roman, which is a city that's completely uncharted territory in Bulgaria. It's not that you can't go there or there's nothing to see in the environment, but it is not a place people go. It is, let's say, the Alabama of Bulgaria, at least. That would probably be Bernik, but also Roman, Cervenbrak, and not necessarily for good reason, because people are just people everywhere else, but historically it was quite rough, and it still kind of is. And yeah, you can see it that you're off the beaten path. In fact, now I'm off the path completely, and now I'm too far on this road to retrace my steps for 20 kilometers, but I'm almost there. I can recommend you, if you do any road trip in Bulgaria and want to go truly adventure into the country, have a look with Street View, which is pretty widely spread, and have a look at the state and the quality of the roads before you truly go deep into the country, and you can see which parts are paved or unpaved. Also on your phone, you just press the location on the map and you can actually see the road that you're going to drive on beforehand. So that's a smart tip I can give you. Alright, continuing. Alright, eventually I'm back on the paved road, and this is the I believe Malik Iskar, so the narrow or the small Iskar river, which is a side river of the main Iskar. We have some nice formations here, which are all over the province of Pleven. This is the village of Karash, which is not in a very good shape nowadays. Here's the pensioners club, which is closed nowadays on Saturday, on the street Vasilevsky. And here, during the communist times, used to be a slogan which has now faded away. But we can see that the town is in a state of decay. Nothing much left of it. There's my car. Although some houses are being bought as properties and renovated for being a vacation home. So eventually there will be more revival, let's say. But yeah, quite interesting. I've explored the province of Pleven quite often, but it has a bit of a rough edge. And it's not truly the place to go interview villages, because it's not the same as hospitality in the Rhodops, let's say. It truly has a bit of a rougher edge. Not unfriendly, but different. People stick to their own a bit more. There's nothing wrong with that. Like, I'm pretty introverted myself, like to do my own thing. But sometimes I like to interview people in the places I go. That sort of thing mostly happens in the south of Bulgaria. Or southeast, especially the farther away you are from Sofia, and the farther you are south or southeast, the more hospitable people you'll meet, actually. Now, why did I stop here? Because I was seeing that little tower from the distance, and I'm curious what kind of building it is. It's probably the municipality. And it's an interesting place because we see a combination of several types of architecture, sort of revival style from during the uprising with the wooden balconies, even old lanterns I see in the back, and even older houses with the very original roof of flat stone. It's in a state of decay, and that must be in the back an administrative building which is in a state of well, it's from the socialist era for sure. It's interesting here. We see some other slogans written in red from socialist era, although I cannot make out what it used to write. Some more over there, and a big old wooden door. It's very likely that this was a cafe at some point and then turned into a house, at least. The basement could have been a cafe here, because I see a big door, some benches. And there we see in the back that this was built in 1875, on the 27th of April. It's written in old handwriting, in old Bulgarian. Interesting. Pretty old. And indeed it is the Chitalište, which is the communal building, let's say, where there's a library. It still works because I see there's a sign that says you need to enter with a mask on. There's a municipality as well. Nice architecture though, with this round facade. Really nice. And the staircase down to the river, which is now closed off. You can imagine that at some point, let's say couples in love would have walked here in the village streets, who purchased a property for a decent amount and started families here. These are now gone, and history has left its mark here. We can see that on this place used to be the house where Vasilevsky met the leader of the local revolutionary committee. So there used to be an old wooden house right here, which was probably burned down at some point. And Vasilevsky has walked exactly here, even before this building was even built. It wasn't here yet. It was after his time. But that building on the left was certainly there, so he has seen that. He's walked through these streets. Interesting. This here used to be the Bakalia, which is a grocery store, let's say. You can see the old beer bottles still standing outside, waiting to be picked up, but that never happened. In fact, they are quite old. Probably a few years, and then the store just closed. Interestingly, here, this is Bar, Ontario. Ontario is a city in Canada, or a state, and a lot of Bulgarians live in Canada. They just left for a better life. There still are many Bulgarians, and when there's a relative there or someone comes back, they often open a bar with the money they made. That's might have been what happened here, and it was named after the state or city. It's an old building. We can see that the Bakalia was built next to it in the same style, but the Bakalia is not even 20 years old. This one is way older though, easily 100 years, or almost. Bar, Ontario. Can you imagine when it was still open? Here from the socialist era, we see the Smessen magazine. Decay probably stands for what is it? Corporation. So during the socialist era, let's say government-led stores that did the whole purchasing and everything and distribution of milk and whatnot. And you had the general store in every village. It says Sutrin, the morning. Well, you know, the whole working hours. Then they put some stickers over that because the working hours changed. Probably were shortened because of decreased demand for the store, and then it just closed because now there's no one. And now there's probably no working store at all. Here an old house, but this one's been reconstructed probably by a wealthy person, or it's been newly built. It could be the case as well, although judging by the walls around it, this is a way older construction that's been redone very well, but the person has passed away, unfortunately. And here on the left, it must be the school. No other way. And the church or some monument must be on the right. I haven't been in this place before, but I know the general layout of a Bulgarian village. And indeed, there it is. Interesting to stroll around here. This is the national main school of this village, Garage. The fence is still entirely intact, all handmade by some workers, some specialists who did it very nicely. Same for the wooden door. Everybody had their trade, you know. It's interesting. This serves to remind the people who fell for the country, 1939. The text said, "They died for you, for your, liberty, let's say." And here we see another monument commemorating all the tragedies of the local area. 1912 to 13, 1915 to 18. So these must have been the Balkan Wars. Although this monument doesn't, or perhaps the plaque there does, dedicate some commemoration to the First or Second World War as well. Yes, indeed it does. People from here even passed away in Hungary in fights, as it says. Right here, 1945 Hungary. And their names written here. When a lot of villages still carried Bulgarian names, like Kala Tepe. What's that, a muddy hill? Turkish names, some of them at least. Lüleburgaz is in Turkey now, actually. Yeah, interesting. Really fascinated by all of this. Another completely overgrown house here. Used to be very pretty. We see in the back another house and a big street lamp. Many of these villages were electrified in the 70s during the socialist era, and then aesthetics didn't really matter, so they just put these enormous lamps, and they're still hanging, although they don't work anymore, probably.